WebEx during COVID-19 and going forward. So very lucky to have both these guys here. Nick, take it away.
Okay, thanks everyone. So we're in the middle of COVID-19 now, with some of us returning to work. So what we wanted to go through today was the collaboration tools that everyone's just starting to use, and how we can take that a little bit of a step further, for both now and as we move into going back to work. So we've got here agenda today. We're going to go a bit over PBX Technology Group, which is the group that Netway Networks is a part of, and the remote workforce takeover. So the shift towards remote working, unlocking remote workforce using these collaboration tools, and returning to work. So how you can take advantage of that even more as we come back into the office workplace. Okay, so I don't know if anyone's been aware too much of PBX Technology Group, but it was initially established back in 1982 with our CEO and founder, Paul Gallo, established a company called Disprax. For over 3 decades, PBX Technology Group have provided technology-related products and services to a diverse range of clients, including government departments, universities, secondary education, ASX listed company, health industry, and not-for-profit organisations. So anywhere from small to large businesses in a vast array of industries. Today, PNORS consists of 4 individual IT companies that provide a range of complementary and integrated IT solutions, including IT consultancy services, ERP and CRM software, EDI and business process automation solutions, and digitalization through data automation and capture. We have offices in Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Perth, and Indonesia. So there's the different business units: Data Time, Pacific Commerce, Netway Networks, and We'll Do IT. Okay, so Netway, established in 1999. We've got offices in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and Perth. Professional IT services, cloud solutions. What a lot of customers don't realize is how our depth and breadth in the telco solutions. So unified communications, voice and video endpoints, call center, internet and data links, both private and public data, and obviously MSA solutions as well. So outsourcing your complete IT solutions to us so we can manage them for you. All right, next slide. So yeah, we acquired EthWorks back in 2017, which is where the Cisco partnerships come from, and we're integrating that nationally into Netway Networks and PNORS Technology Group. Okay, so the road towards remote working. So as you've noticed with COVID, was suddenly thrust upon us, everyone working from home. Not everyone was suited for that. Some companies had some capability for it, but a lot of us were stuck in a place where we're using our mobile phones, starting to use other free software like Microsoft Teams and Zoom, and it's not very secure. We're finding it very difficult. It's going a little bit of video and these sorts of webinar meetings, but we'll go through exactly how to take that the next step further and to be a lot more secure in doing it also. Okay, so as I've just discussed, the past of reducing commuting, work-life balance, cost of living, and improved efficiency. So that's how we worked previously in an office environment, and now with COVID-19, we're thrust into reduction of social interaction, ensuring our businesses remain efficient as well. But going into the future, we'll want more of a work-life balance, being able to work anywhere at any time in a secure and an effective manner, and a greater productivity. As we return to work, so right now we've gone from being able to just grab someone, get up from your desk, go and grab someone from the office, go into a meeting as a not very cohesive way. With this, we can, sorry, excuse me. We can grab, sorry, can you take over from here? can you take over?
Sorry, I was on mute there.
Yeah.
And the point that we're trying to get across, guys, at the moment is now that our households have really good accessibility to the NBN fast internet, we've got this investment with Teams, with WebEx, with Zoom, and all these collaboration tools that there's no real limitations to what we can achieve by working from home, working in the office, and then going into the future. We've done the investment, but the tools are there. The tools keep coming out, they keep getting better, and it's available for us to do this communication and collaboration in a very streamlined manner. So that's part of what we're discussing today, guys.
Okay, so what I was trying to go through there was in our normal office environment pre-COVID, we could, get up from our desk, go and grab our office worker and just have a meeting ad hoc. Now with working from home, we're needing to schedule meetings, be a lot more productive in the way that we communicate one-to-one and one-to-many. Going into these video conferences that everyone's having to do these days with COVID-19. We can take that whole environment, the way we do it, into going back into the office and be a lot more productive. A lot of people are spending a lot of money on air flights, accommodation, these sorts of things that we just don't have access to right now. And with these tools, we can really unlock those features and benefits and cost reductions going forward as we return to work. So we'll go on to the next slide here. So here's some data statistics that were both pre-COVID and during COVID. So 80% of employees said that if they had the working flexibility, they would be with an employer for longer. 51% would say that they would take a pay cut for teleworking. A lot of us have had to do that at the moment anyway. But we've seen the benefits of working from home or working from anywhere. 55% reported being slightly or significantly more productive working from home than in an office environment. And 78% expressed a desire to spend at least a certain amount of time working from home. And this last stat was pre-COVID-19, and I'll stress that these are all Australian statistics. 68% of Australians employers say their company now allows employees to work remotely. So we'd probably bump that to 100% now with COVID. So here's just a little slide on the different ways in which we can currently use cloud or use remote working. So email, our voice communications, file access, data protection, files and co-working, integration, chat, and things like Teams. So having the Teams chats, Teams environments where you can upscale to like a voice or a video presentation. And finally, I'd like to introduce Eric, who worked at Broadsoft previous to Cisco. So he's been around the trap for a very long time and knows exactly what he's talking about. So I'll hand this over to Eric now.
Yes. I don't know about that, Nick, but we'll give it a crack.
A very, very long time.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, team? Now let me just get my
So we've just got a note from Mohammed saying the slide hasn't changed for a while.
It will now.
All right, just guys, there's a chat on the right-hand side of your screen. If there's any problems or any issues, if you've got any questions, please feel free to put your comments or problems in that chat and we'll address them as this session goes on. Thanks, Eric.
You guys seeing my screen? You're seeing my screen just on WebEx? Yeah?
I've got it, yep. Hopefully everyone else does.
Cool. All right, no worries. So look, I thanks guys. And look, WebEx from a meetings perspective has gone absolutely ballistic for us. Last month we cracked 24 billion meeting minutes globally, and our average prior to COVID was around 4 to 5 billion. So if you think about what COVID has done, it's pretty much forcing everybody to use these collaboration tools to collaborate. As the guys were saying, we need the right tools. They need to work every time. They need to be secure. They need to be cost effective, and they need to work from home. And so, you know, as we're all doing right now, we're all working from home, and certainly I am. Even I'm on 4G too, by the way, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem. So I'm even on the mobile network because I'm out in the country Victoria at the moment. So yeah, so WebEx from a meetings perspective has just gone absolutely ballistic. But what I'm going to focus on today is calling. So WebEx Meetings, again, if you guys want to trial WebEx Meetings, if you want to have a look at it, please contact the Netway guys and they'll help you get cracking on a 30, 60, 90-day trial to see what you think for your organization. Right now in Australia, we've got hundreds of thousands of users on WebEx trialing right now off the back of COVID, and that's actually only in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So yeah, the growth is unbelievable. So let's get into calling. But as you can see, the WebEx platform is there's lots of capability in the whole platform. Each discrete area can be run completely standalone. We've got customers just running meetings or just running calling or contact center. And the other thing I just want to point out early, and I'm going to demo this, is customers running, yourselves running if you're using Microsoft Teams on the desktop, all of these components actually plug in. In other words, you're not limited. You don't have to not use Cisco because you're using Microsoft on the desktop. We're a very, very close partner with Microsoft, and I'm going to show you the plugin for calling, for example, in a moment. So just a little bit on WebEx Calling. WebEx Calling was launched some 18 months ago by Cisco, but it's actually been around for over 20 years. And there's over 20 million users worldwide. In Australia alone, there's about 3.3 million users on the same platform as WebEx Calling, which is the Broadworks platform, just in Australia. So this is not new. It's just a rebranding and bringing, so that was out of the acquisition because Cisco acquired BroadSoft 18 months ago. Just want to point out that the platform has been around for a while. So it's an enterprise PBX, and it's been evolving, like I said, for the last 20 years. It is WebEx is a complete package, but you can just take calling. Some customers also take meetings, but the middle pillar here, WebEx Teams, is an option that you can either use or use Microsoft Teams. So either one. So again, I just wanted to drive that one home. And there was one other slide I wanted to point out, and that is that just to get into WebEx Calling a bit, it's really, really simple construct. There's either an enterprise, a basic, or a common option or a phone that you choose. And then all of the features like hunt groups, auto attendants, queues, etc., reception consoles, they're all free. They're just included. So enough of me yapping on. I want to get straight into the demo. So what you're seeing on the screen now is the WebEx Control Hub. So if you're a customer that takes, 10 users on WebEx Calling or 10,000 users, as some of our larger enterprises do for this same product, take WebEx Calling, you get the same console. So everything I'm showing you, you will get whether you're 10 users or 10,000 users, doesn't matter. You will get the same. And it's enterprise class tool, and it's an enterprise portal. So what you see on the dashboard, and I'm going to race through this because what we want you to do is, if you're interested in having a closer look, we'll do one-on-one. Please contact the Netway guys. So what you're seeing here is a dashboard just giving me a snapshot at a glance. Are all my services working? Are my devices working? Is my calling working? Are my meetings working? Is everything functional? Because those little green lights are going to go red if not. From a user perspective, how you manage users, this is integrated into Active Directory, Azure, on-prem. There are tools for onboarding, etc. So this is fully synced into Active Directory. You don't have to manually install users. You can bring them in through AD. And we've got full SSO support too. So users don't have to remember passwords. If they know their laptop password, then they'll know their passwords for WebEx Calling or the other WebEx tools as well, like WebEx Meetings. Devices. So all of your Cisco devices are in this portal as well. So for example, whether I've got Cisco headsets, handsets, there's a Bluetooth headset there, the 730. or room systems. If you want to use some of the soundbar, room kits or room systems from Cisco, they'll all be in this one screen, all manageable. They'll tell you who they're associated with or what area they're in, and you can manage them, upgrade them, put on advertisements on them, whatever you like. So device management is all there. Oh, and by the way, for device management, just to mention something, if I need to add a device, if I need to provision a site that's in, for example, Mount Isa, and I click on add a device, I can actually provision that totally using either MAC address or an activation code. And what that means is that you can provision phones without even taking them out of the box. And in fact, if the user's already got the phone, you don't even need to know the MAC address. You can provision, and they'll get an automatic email saying, "Hey, punch in this little code on the phone," which is prompting you, and it'll provision. Really, really simple stuff. So now I'm just going to jump into features. So these are your traditional PBX features. Let me just do that again. I think I broke something. So these are those traditional PBX features like auto attendants. So for example, if you are thinking you're an organization that would maybe not be able to afford to have an auto attendant for their inbound, you ring your main number and it says, "Hi, welcome to Acme, press 1 for sales, 2 for service." WebEx calling comes free with IVRs, and you can have as many as you like. So for example, if you had 4 locations and you took 10 users in each, or 1 user in each, or 1,000 in each, you can have an auto attendant or a couple of auto attendants in each site. Features, as I said, in WebEx calling, like a reception clients, hunt groups, auto attendants, call queues, which is like a call center queue, are all free. They're included in WebEx calling. You do not have to pay for those. All you pay for is the users. You can have as many hunt groups, queues, auto attendants, reception as you like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how easy it is to edit or build an IVR just really quickly, because again, please contact the guys if you want a bit more detail. I'm going to race through this. What I wanted to show you was that anybody, if I showed you how to do this once, you would be able to do it, not a problem. It's an auto attendant, so I'm going to have an inbound phone number. I type in a phone number there. Done, bang. Menu, if somebody presses 0, transfer to this phone number. If someone presses 1, transfer to this extension. If someone presses 2, transfer to that extension. That's how complicated it is, right? So if you can type a phone number or an extension, you can build your own IVR. And then under greetings, you can upload a WAV file. And we even give you a mobile app to record it, or instructions. That's it. You do that. I can build an IVR from scratch within about 2 or 3 minutes. It is that simple. And that's how simple it should be, right? A call queue. I want to quickly show you a call queue. A call queue is a hunt group, right? It's called distribution. You ring a phone number, and then Bob's phone rings, he doesn't answer, then Jill's phone rings, she doesn't answer, then something else happens. And while the phone's ringing in a normal hunt group, what does the person hear? They hear ring, 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 right? The only difference between a hunt group and a queue, which are free in WebEx calling, is that while the phone's ringing, you can have custom hold music. You can have a message every 10 seconds that says, "Hey, we'll be with you in a moment. Please don't hang up. We want your business. Don't go away." You can have a welcome message so that when someone rings that group of people, that sales group or that department, that they get a message to say, "Hey, look, thanks for calling the Ford sales hotline. Did you know that there's a recall on airbags?" Or if you're ringing a sales department, "Hey, have you registered on our website?" or something like that. You've complete control over what folks hear when they call that hunt group. But in this case, it's called a queue. It's very powerful, and yet so simple, because all I've got to do is upload a WAV file and say, "Yep, make that message mandatory so that everybody hears it when they connect to this queue." And then how do I want to distribute the calls? Do I want to ring them all at once, or do I want to know that, look, if they ring the Ford, if it's a Ford hotline, you know, Gemma, she's great. She's, you know, let's make sure if she's not on the phone, she gets every call. And Ian over here, Ian's pretty crap at selling Fords. So, you know, he's the last person, but we'll put him in there. But, you know, we don't really want him to take calls. So that's skills-based routing. And this is all built in to WebEx Calling. And then I can add folks to get those calls from anywhere in the country. I've got folks here from Brisbane and Adelaide. I can add Melbourne, whatever. I can add as many as I like. I could have, you know, 100 people in this particular queue if I want as well. So that's really how simple it is to build a hunt group or a queue. It's literally tick a few boxes, add a phone number and extension, add your users, done. You're now ready to go. It really doesn't get any simpler than that. And the other thing I wanted to quickly show you is reporting. So let's say you build your IVR and you go, great, I want an auto attendant, you know, the press 1, press 2. I really like the idea of that. But if I build a hunt group and say, hey, press 1 for, you know, Ford and 2 for Holden, how am I going to know how many folks have pressed 1 or 2? You know, I'd really like to, you know, it's a business, right? I want to have some information to know who's pressing what button. Well, guess what? The reports are all included as well. So for example, for that auto attendant that I just mentioned, that IVR, I'm looking at these buttons and I'm saying, well, over this period of time, which I can select, you know, the last 7 days, for example, 7 people have pressed the number 1 button for sales and nobody's pressed service. You know, is that a problem? What if this was Ford or Holden? I'd be going, how come no one's pressing the Holden button? Oh, that's right, they're gone, right? How come no one's pressing Eric's mobile number button? Don't they want to talk to Eric, you know? So this info, and not only that, it tells you how many folks actually didn't press any button. So how good would that be to know that folks are calling into your business, you know where they're going, and you know how many folks are pressing what button on an IVR, and how many are actually dropping off? How many are pressing no button? Can you imagine if that was a big number? You'd be going, crikey, we must be babbling on our IVR where it says, hey, welcome to Acme, blah, 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 you know, press 1 or 2. They're getting bored and hanging up. That's not good. Now, how would you know unless you had a report, right? And there's also queue reports. So you know how I was saying that you were distributing calls to Bob and to Jill, and they were calling, let's say that was the sales hotline. How good would it be to know that there's, have a report to say how many calls were answered when they got to that hotline with Bill and Bob and Jill, I'm getting the names mixed up here, how long they waited till they got the call, but also how many were abandoned. So what if, you know, you're sending these calls through to Bob and to Jill, and there was only, in this case, you know, 3 calls, but 2 were abandoned. So what the hell? You know, why aren't people picking up the phone? And it's even giving you the average abandon time, 28 seconds. So geez, you know, in 28 seconds, people are getting bored and hanging up. What if it was 2 minutes? Then you'd understand it, right? So this is really basic reporting, but it's really, really important to a business, because if you know how many calls are coming in, where they're going, whether they're being answered or not, right, you can make changes to improve your business. So that's, in a really, really quick, you know, nutshell, what WebEx Calling is all about. Some of the reporting we're adding very shortly, actually, on WebEx Calling also would be analytics around, you know, being able to know that, for example, let's say the boss rings you up and says, hey, I was on a call yesterday, you know, a work call, and it was a bit scratchy. You know, what's going on with this system, you know? Imagine you as an IT or as a stakeholder be able to log in to this portal, jump to an analytics screen, and actually look at, you know, be able to go back in time and look at that call, find that call, and then be able to say to that boss on the phone, hey, I've just looked up that call. I noticed you were using your soft client. And he goes, yeah, actually, yeah, I was. And I noticed you were on, looks like there was really bad network. You know, were you on Wi-Fi or something? Like, what's going on? You know, where were you? And he's going, actually, I was in a cafe and, oh, geez, I must have connected to their Wi-Fi. Oh, okay. Well, the system's okay then. It's really the Wi-Fi that was bad. Imagine having that visibility. Imagine knowing all of that information, knowing if the CPU had pegged on the laptop, knowing how they called, and that's across meetings, calling, everything. Imagine having that visibility. That's what this portal gives you. It gives you all of that visibility. So that's my 10-minute rushed or very quick snapshot on WebEx Calling on the admin portal. Just quickly, I want to show you what's also included is a reception console. What you could see on your screen here is included WebEx Calling for free, gives you visibility of all of the users, whether they're on calls or not, and those queues, how many calls are coming in and where they're going. The receptionist has the absolute ultimate visibility over everything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch screens and just really quickly show you Microsoft Teams integration, if that's okay. Just give me 2 secs. I'm going to change presenter. And I'm going to share my other screen and just one of the nicks tell me you can see that okay.
Yep, that's good to me.
All right. So what I've got on my screen here is Microsoft Teams. I'm assuming some of the folks on the call are using Microsoft Teams. Again, just to point out, with WebEx Calling, you actually do get WebEx Teams for free, but you don't have to use it. If you're already using Microsoft Teams, great, not a problem, nothing wrong with that. And I'll just quickly show you how WebEx Calling integrates with WebEx Teams. And in fact, WebEx Meetings also integrates with Microsoft Teams. There's too many teams and stuff. All right, so what you'll see here is Microsoft Teams, and you'll notice there's a WebEx Calling button and there's a WebEx Meetings button. So let's say I'm chatting away to Gemma. She's offline. I'm thinking, geez, I can't chat to her at the moment, and I want to give her a call. I just go down to the calling button, WebEx Call. You can see down the bottom here. I click the button, and I go, yeah, I want to call her. Which number do I want to call? I can, if she's got a mobile number, etc. And then I click call. And now I'm calling Gemma. So let's see if she answers, waiting. Oh, here she is. She looks awfully like me. There you go. That's me. So I just wanted to quickly show you that. And so WebEx Calling and WebEx Meetings are actually integrated into Microsoft Teams. You can click to call. So there's no reason why you would have to use any other calling platform when you can use WebEx Calling across Microsoft environment. So that's it from me. I hope I know I rushed through it, but if there's something in there you think this actually looks pretty cool. I'm getting free reception consoles. I'm getting Microsoft integration. I'm getting queues. I'm getting hunt groups and IVRs. Geez, how much does this cost? Can I have a closer look? Please contact the Netway guys. Over to you, Nick.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Eric. That was really good. That opened my eyes a lot. We've got some time for questions at the moment. So everyone, you'll note that your microphones are muted. That's kind of just a feature for these events. So if you jump into the chat, we can answer any questions that you have. I had one for you, Eric. So with WebEx Calling, if someone calls like our main number, will that come through to me on Teams? And can I call out of Teams as if it's the main number?
So if basically what happens is if somebody calls, and if I'm running so you're talking about the Microsoft Teams environment, yeah?
Yeah, correct.
So if somebody calls me and I'm using the Microsoft Teams environment, what happens is a window pops up over the top of Microsoft Teams to say, hey, I've got an inbound call. It'll bring up your caller ID and all the details, right? And I answer the call. If it's video comes up. If it's audio, I chat away. If I'm on mobile, it will also ring my native mobile number if I want. So I don't even need the client on my mobile. I can actually just use my native mobile. Or you can use a soft client as well on the mobile as well, right? So the mobile's all integrated. So my mobile's going to call at the same time. And in fact, I can even move calls between, my desktop and my mobile, because who wants to take a phone call really on their laptop? Yes, if you're set up, your headset's ready to go, fantastic, but a lot of folks want those business calls to come to the mobile as well. If I want to make a call, that's what I showed you before, that click to call. So both of them, will present on a laptop with Microsoft Teams, no problem.
And so when I'm calling customers and clients, dealing with customer support, it doesn't show my mobile number coming up, it shows my desk.
Yeah. So for example, on the mobile integration, what happens is if you don't want to use VoIP, so you can use a VoIP app, so that's where it's using data on the mobile, right? And of course, if you make a VoIP call out of the mobile, it's going to show your business number, right? Yep. But let's say, Nick, you're going to be driving up the highway and you're thinking, geez, if I get on a VoIP call with this customer, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to get dropouts because I know there's a black spot somewhere up the highway somewhere, right? So we don't always want to make a VoIP call while we're moving, driving into a basement, getting even into a lift, right? Who hasn't been there on a VoIP call, right? What you can do with WebEx Calling, and it's included with every user, is you can integrate the mobile so that if I go into the mobile app, I can make a call out and it will actually make a mobile call, not a VoIP call. It'll actually use your normal mobile to make a business call out, and you'll see business number, not a mobile number, even though it's not a data call. It's like magic, right? So basically, it's integrating the mobile with the platform to allow you to use a normal mobile phone call. Why would we do that? We do that because mobile data is great. There's great carriers in this country, Telstra, Optus, etc. But mobile data, using voice over mobile data, just doesn't work everywhere. Especially when I drive. I know when I drive into work and I drive down into the basement, even in our Cisco office in town, if I'm on a VoIP call, I get it starts dropping out, right? Because that's what happens with VoIP calls. But if I use my mobile, I'm fine. But I don't, like Nick said, you don't want to expose your mobile number. So we do have a solution for that. It's included.
Excellent. We just had a question from one of our participants. Nick has just answered it. Maybe I'll read it out loud for everyone. He said, I'm a school with around 150 plus Cisco IP phone handsets. Many of those, 75%, are probably in classroom locations. So I'd imagine the licensing program for WebEx Calling has elements of handset count. Given that only 25% of these handsets belong to named users, is it licensing friendly for these counts? So do you guys want to have a little bit of a chat about that?
Yeah, so that one of the, and I really, really quickly brought up that screen, how WebEx Calling's, the commercial construct is really, really simple. You've got obviously users, enterprise and basic, and there was another one called common phones, and they're places, right? So a classroom is a place, it's not a user. And the cost for those licenses for those phones is, much, much smaller, right? Because it's not a user, they don't need voicemail and they don't need, all the enhanced features, right? Like soft clients, because it's a physical location. But yet they can still do things like, obviously make and take calls, they can transfer calls, all the rest of it. And they could even be a hoteling host, which is to do with, me walking up to that phone and saying, hey, I want that phone to now become my phone number for the day. So yes, common phones, very cost effective, absolutely. That's what we call them, common phones.
Excellent. We'll give it a couple more minutes. If anyone's got any questions, shoot them through now. Otherwise, if you'd like to ask us one-on-one or in private, that's more than fine with us. Sorry, go on.
I'll just jump right in just with another one just for you. From a customer perspective, one of the things that would slow you down from maybe make you think, oh geez, should I go to the cloud, is risk. Should I really risk forklifting up my phone system and putting it up in the cloud and then crossing my fingers over the weekend when it switches over? That's not how it works with WebEx Calling. Folks like Netway, what they'll do is actually help you migrate up to the cloud with very, very, very little risk, to the extent where you can practically run the two platforms together. So when you think about, what's the best platform? Do I have to port my numbers and cross my fingers and hope that everything works? There are ways, there are methodologies with WebEx Calling to make that very, very low risk. And that's a good thing, because that means your business won't stop. For, in case something goes wrong, your old system will still be running.
Excellent. I suppose that's one of the complications we've seen with COVID-19 and the quick responsiveness that Australia has had to have. We've seen a lot of our clients have to pick up their phones and redirect it to everyone's mobiles. I suppose with that comes a lot of risk and, more importantly, uncertainty as to whether the calls are actually getting through to begin with. And platforms like this have come out in response to that. Obviously, they've been around a lot longer than COVID-19, but companies are now beginning to understand the need for IP telephony in general and what it can do.
Yeah, and it's interesting that a lot of folks thought, oh, well, this is only going to last a few weeks or a month. We'll just use our mobiles at home for outbound calls. And what's happening now is businesses are saying, oh, actually, we've got to stop. We've got to get these users working with business telephony out in the field, at home, and in fact, moving forward. So, and that's really what, solutions like WebEx Calling are all about giving users really, really simple tools to make and take business calls and call flow and collaborate from anywhere.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I might leave it at that. Nick, did you have any final remarks?
Yeah, we haven't touched on this a lot, but the security of the WebEx platform over and above things like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, that sort of thing, the end-to-end encryption. Yep. I'm not sure if there's enough time to sort of cover that, but I just wanted to bring that up, that there's a huge point of difference that WebEx Cisco is the only competitor out there out of Microsoft Zoom. Everyone else that's doing this collaboration piece at the moment that has end-to-end security that brings in the phone system and call center element into this, so that your 07, 03, 02 numbers are directed into your collaboration environment. Like, it's end-to-end solution that no one else in the market has right now. And it is, once upon a time, video collaboration, video conferencing, it was cost prohibitive, unless you're a big Fortune 500, etc., that could afford to take your, airfare and travel accommodation budget and put it into video conferencing solutions. Nowadays, it's literally to your laptop for what would be a cost reduction of your telephony system. Like, it's such a meager cost, but you can bring it out into these room-based devices now, which are a fraction of the cost of what they used to be. It's just,
I was going to say too, I don't know if anyone's seen on the news when the Prime Minister's having conferences with all the states, or when the WHO are having conferences, you'll see, and half the presidents, I've got screenshots of them all now, they're all using WebEx, and they're doing that because of the security, as Nick said, right? And what's interesting is that, you as a business, you might think, well, gee, they're big enterprise tools that Parliament use. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford a system like that. Well, guess what? It's the same system, and it's available to you, whether you've got, like I said, a couple of users or 10,000 users. It doesn't matter. It's the same system. So what you're getting is the benefits of a very secure, high-end enterprise system at a very low cost, an affordable cost for your business.
And also, you can have a hybrid scenario where you have your existing telephony hardware and still be plugged into WebEx Calling and WebEx Meetings and Teams, Microsoft Teams, whatever you like, whatever flavor you want to run that as an end user perspective. But there doesn't have to be much change for your end users in the way they go about their business. It's just suddenly added feature sets.
No, the user experience, you're right, absolutely right, is very, very important. It's got to
Everyone
be,
thinks it's so costly when it's hard to sort of educate customers that it is actually a cost reduction for most companies nowadays, not a huge investment.
All right, we've got another question there. Are there any comments about the WebEx and Teams integrations if you only own and control the WebEx systems? So in this instance, head office owns Microsoft Teams. Does anyone want to tackle that one?
So I'll flesh this one out because I look after a few schools. They get a lot of cheap pricing through Microsoft Office 365 for like their enterprise E3 or E5 licensing. So they get Microsoft Teams voice for free, or pretty much for free. So they, like a lot of schools I've talked with, want to use the Microsoft skin, so the Microsoft Teams skin, for all their interactions, whether it's on the mobile, whether it's on the laptop, but the Microsoft Teams Voice is a very immature platform compared to BroadSoft or WebEx Calling. Is there ways that they can use it? The schools can use the Microsoft Teams environment and still be backed with WebEx Calling or something better than what Microsoft Teams Voice is right now?
Absolutely.
And a migration path to that. I'm talking to a few schools about that right now. So they've got a big Cisco UC environment. They can hybrid to WebEx Calling, but still use Microsoft Teams skin. If I'm making sense saying that.
Yeah, but as I said, we've put a lot of investment into, as in Cisco, has put a lot of investment into working with Microsoft and making sure we work easily within that environment. And so we're more than happy for folks to stay with Microsoft Teams. There's no issue with that. I want to make sure I'm absolutely clear with that. If you're using Microsoft Teams, keep using it. It's not a problem. But if you want enterprise calling, that's when you need to come talk to us, as in talk to Netway.
Yeah, John makes a really good point. Everyone's fallen in love with Microsoft Teams. It's become the new norm. Probably won't be going away. It's easy to use. Everyone seems to be using it. So
it's because they already have it. That's the thing. They already have it on their desktop. WebEx Teams and Microsoft Teams are very, very similar in how they use and operate. The idea and the concept is exactly the same. It's just adding all the other features to it and all the other like being able to bring your system where it is now into that Microsoft Teams or WebEx Teams environment and still being able to operate the same way as you always did. So yeah, there's a lot. Microsoft, Cisco, they're all working together these days. So the Microsoft Teams voice is just not there from a telephony perspective or a call center perspective. We've tried it. It's not a mature product at all. Maybe in a few years' time, but right now, BroadSoft, which is why Cisco bought it, is the best out there, and has been for the last 10 years at least. So.
Excellent. Well, thanks, guys. We've hit our 45-minute mark. I'd like to thank Eric for giving up his time today. Eric from Cisco, very much appreciated. Nick Olsen as well. Thank you guys very much for the presentation, and hopefully we've given everyone a good understanding of WebEx calling and what can be achieved. So if you've got any comments or questions, concerns, queries, anything, please feel free to reach out to us. Hit us up on our website. All our details are there, and we look forward to speaking to everyone soon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya. Have a good one.
Bye.